everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 6. Now I have to be very careful to not look at any of the Endermen like I did a minute ago here, as that would be very scary. Anyhow, in the last episode, I did a bunch of other things, and holy shit, it is the second most viewed video on my channel right now, so hello if you came from that. Anyhow, what I did at the end of that last episode was I built the interior to this church-like structure here. As you can see, I actually put effort into this, and it looks pretty cool, and we have some... I have to provide a regular sweet sacrifice. Okay, so I'm guessing... Okay, it wants more CBI bars. Okay, we'll do that in a moment. But first, I gotta talk about what else we did in the previous episode. I guess more importantly in the previous episode, we worked on this. We made a system to automate the Ender Dragon fight, and in between episodes, I've actually figured out a way to make the Ender Dragon actually drop the stuff I needed it / wanted it to drop. And, well, let's just go through a dragon fight here so we can all experience that magic. Oh shit, it died right over the exit portal. Okay. Let's see if I can... Okay, well, that's gonna be at spawn then. Hang on a second. Huh. It's not here. I could have sworn I put that update on the server. Hang on a second, I'm incredibly blind. There's a shulker box on my hotbar. This wasn't here a moment ago. So yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. Oh my god. I was going through all this process being like, huh, why didn't it work? What's going on? It should work. I've tested this. It should work, but it was in my inventory. I don't know when it got there. I'll probably replay a video clip right now of me picking it up or something like that, or probably not. I'm too lazy to do that. But yeah, this is what's supposed to happen. So what I've done is in the loot table, I've changed it so that if it gets killed by TNT, it nests the actual result, that is this stuff, inside of a couple of shulker boxes. This is because when a shulker box gets exploded, instead of just disappearing, or specifically a shulker box item, when a shulker box item gets exploded, instead of just disappearing, it drops whatever's inside of it. So using a loot table, I've nested 3 shulker boxes inside of each other, with the final one containing this, because there are 4 TNT that kill the dragon. And assuming each of them kills the successive items, these items should drop. But it appears that we only got 2 shulker boxes out this, so only one of the shulker boxes popped. But I guess that's the side effect that I'm willing to do from this thing, to drop extra shulker boxes. But this might be a little bit cheaty to get shulker boxes by killing the dragon, but I'm telling you, well, that's not gonna matter, because in this episode, I am gonna be building the shulker box farm for this season, somewhere out in this general vicinity here, and also actually later in the episode we're gonna get to build an exterior around this building, as that is just the interior right now. But as for my motivation suddenly behind building a shulker box farm, besides not really wanting to consider that stuff with the dragon very cheaty or anything, well, I've got a project on the horizon which is going to need like 14,000 shulker boxes at a minimum. So I think let's get into a time lapse of this thing being built. Hang on a second though, but before we do that, we actually got to do the sacrifice. I almost forgot about this, but you know, this is quite important, so let's get this out of the way then. Alright then, time-lapse time! This farm was designed, I believe, by Bellite, I want to say. I don't know how to exactly pronounce it, but I got it off of a YouTube tutorial, and I did make a slight modification. That is, I wrapped the farm in glass and such so that the stray shulker pellets, 1, wouldn't be going everywhere, and 2, would be a little bit safer to fly around this farm. However, there is the little issue that if you flying underneath and go into the scaffolding, you're trapped and probably dead, let's be real, because that is an active part of the farm. Now, this farm theoretically has decent rates, and actually the rates double if you, like, go and stand an AFK here, so I'm definitely going to do that from time to time. But right now we have to, besides get a shulker, but I've already partially prepared for that. I found a completely unrated end city that's not too far away, and I've already built a shulker track from that. A minecart track back from that back to the main, or to my island here. So we'll just build that over to this farm. But first, storage system, and by that I mean a shulker box loader, because obviously this is a shulker box farm. We're gonna need a shulker box loader as storage, so I'll do that. Alright, here we are, unrated end city. I got some invisibility here. Let's chug this, take the armor off so the shulkers don't see me, and then we building up the railway up to the shulkers. I did not think that part through very much. Alright, the other end of this line should already be... That was a misplace. As I was saying, the other end of this line should already be good to go. It should just plop them right into the farm. So, alright. All we gotta do now is follow this line all the way to the end. Alright then, the shulker's now in the farm, and all we have to wait for is the shulker to actually teleport into the operating position, which is like right there next to that piston. Well, technically they gotta teleport to that trap door. But that could take a hot second. So I gotta wait till that happens before I can turn the farm on. But once that happens, simply just gotta turn the farm on and it'll start working. So, yeah. Mind you, as I said that, it teleported into place. So this isn't too bad at all. So, all I gotta do now is come down here. I can turn hitboxes off. That was the wrong button. Click this lever. I can't tell if that's the sound engine being weird, but... Oh no, they were all just shooting at the same time. That's what it was. Okay. And they have a cooldown, obviously. But yeah, now the farm is working. Oop, there goes one. And yeah. All we gotta do is now just wait, and eventually there'll be a bunch of them up here, and they'll entity cram themselves to death. So yeah, shulker farm done! Alright, I've been AFK at the farm for a good while, and yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff. Something else I forgot about this farm is that on the server at least, we have a data pack that makes so each shulker always drops 2 shells, and I was testing without that data pack. So this is even more performant of a farm than I was expecting. But yeah, I did actually take one of the boxes out so I could get more shulker boxes in this. But yeah, this is a very productive farm. Great for what we need. So now, before I, do what I need to do by putting an exterior on the church thing here, I'm going to go put shulker loaders in places because procrastination is fun. Also, at this moment in time, I have reached 69 subscribers. Nice. And the last episode has also become the most viewed video on my channel. What the heck is going on? I've started work on installing shulker loaders here at the Falling Block Dupers storage system, and by that I mean I've completely ripped out the old storage system and put in the actual shulker loaders themselves, but a bit of work still needs to be done. Obviously, configuration of the item filters themselves, but I also need to get a bunch of shulker boxes, like the actual boxes, which means I'm going to need to chop down a lot of trees to place all this stuff in here. But first I gotta get like one of everything that we're gonna be storing here. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Item filters have been installed, and I decided that shulker shells would make a good filter item because it's unlikely anyone's just gonna accidentally drop any of those into here. Anyway, alright, after chopping down a good chunk of a jungle, I have gathered the chests that I want to put into this as shulker boxes. So there's gonna be 64 shulkers per slot, which is obviously going to be, I think, less than the total number that can be filled here, but it's also a decent amount, so I guess I gotta craft a bunch of shulker boxes now. Alright, all the shulker boxes have been put in. It's a decent amount of shulker boxes each. I do think this will suffice for now. Although something I did think of here is I don't actually know if these item filters at the end will be properly chunk loaded. Because one of the recent versions, and that definitely includes the current version of Minecraft, I think, or at least the one that I'm on, I believe, changed it so that when an item comes to the end platform, they load chunks. I don't know which chunks get loaded here. Is it like this chunk is the center chunk? Actually, I think it doesn't matter. I think this will be an entity processing chunk. As long as this is an entity processing chunk, it doesn't matter. So the entities can pass by the hoppers. And I think there's a good chance that it is, because if it's the entire platform, then that means we get an additional chunk in every direction. But if it's just this chunk, then we still get this chunk and that chunk out there loaded. Yeah, okay. I think chunk loading is probably going to be fine. Anyhow, now I got to actually AFK for a while in the overworld at the various duper machines to let this thing run, so wee, fun time. It appears that chunk loading, in fact, was not a problem. I've AFK'd enough to get a little bit, at least, of each color here, and I also put some of the various color here, so I don't have to go looking through each and every shulker, trying to find, ooh, where's the lime or whatever. All right here, all very easy to get. Now, I think it's time we stop procrastinating, and I actually get building the exterior to the altar that we built in the last episode. So, let's hit that second time lapse. Alright, that felt like it didn't take as long as it did, but it also took a while. The exterior of the altar building is done, and yes, it looks very churchy. That was, you know, kind of the idea behind the inside, and also why not the outside? Make it look kind of like a church. You got the big old steeple in the front, with the sloped roof and columns and stuff out all around along the sides. I can talk today, definitely. Now, obviously, along the sides, usually you'd have like a bunch of stained glass windows here, but I realizing that I didn't put windows on the exterior, it wouldn't have made sense to do those on the exterior, so we got this little pattern instead with some purple concrete there. And also the exterior built out of basically different materials. The purple is the same, but we have end stone bricks and then, you know, purple concrete on the outside. Also coming around front here, I made a nice 3x3 piston door, but it's kind of broken at the moment. I'm gonna have to go fix that in a moment, but yeah, it's broken in this open position. I actually had to break a block to get in here. This glowstone is supposed to be in the center, and it's not ever supposed to go up, so I gotta figure out what's going on with that. But yeah, compare that to the inside here, which is, you know, obsidian deep slate bricks. Yes, purple, but also mangrove wood. It's just like a all-around different in-out feel. Additionally, in the back here, we have the a window that actually allows us to see outside. I gotta put like some black concrete around this so that, you know, you can only see directly outside and not like the inside wall there, which you're not supposed to be able to see there. Another thing you may notice when you look at this from the outside compared to what it looked like before is that, like, you know, before the high point of the structure was right over here with like the actual altar area, but now the steeple is like complete opposite end of the building. And well, the reason for that is that's what it's generally actually like for real churches, and it makes structural sense because, you know, you're gonna have this big, tall, and heavy thing on this one side of the build. You don't want to put that directly over the giant empty cavity that is where the altar goes. Additionally, typically in real life, there's bells or something up in the steeples, so you're gonna need people to be able to go up there to, in the old days, ring the bell, or in modern days, service the bells. And of course, that requires, the ability to access it, which doesn't jive well with big open spaces. So yeah, it, logically makes sense for this to be here. Alright, I got the door working. It was actually pretty simple judgment error. Simply, the problem was, these two monostable circuits here where the circuit actually gets powered, yeah, I had blocks above the piston, so they weren't able to actually monostable, so there was just power going to both sides of the circuit at all times when the button's pressed. That wasn't right, but anyhow, yes, the door works properly now. I should add a button to actually activate the door from the inside of the church. That would be a good idea. Anyhow, future things for me. To round off the episode today, I have added a little bit of a path next to the building here, as well as these street lights, which I'm probably going to be putting all over the base. Let's be real. I need to stop Endermen from spawning basically everywhere. And this actually looks very neat compared to just like, here, let's go to the other side of the building. Having these torches spammed everywhere. It looks a lot nicer and cleaner to just have these end rod street lamps. I do kind of need them to put them frequently because they're kind of up in the air and yeah, spawn proofing. But yeah, overall I think this is like the kind of feel that I'm going to be going with for the base. Obviously the church is going to be a little bit different how other buildings are probably going to look because, well, it's a church and it's like, the first thing I was here and it's, a bit different. But besides that, yeah, I'm thinking that's gonna be about it for this episode. Lots of progress made today. Thank you everyone who's been liking and subscribing from the last episode. Hopefully you've stuck around through this episode. And yeah, I'll see you all later. Bye!